Morez Johnson is in the portal. We have a couple videos already breaking that news and sort of reacting to the wild story behind the scenes of how he got there. But we have updates on potential school options for Mr. Morez Johnson. This comes from John Rothstein, who tweeted yesterday that Morez is receiving interest from these programs. This is per Morez's agent, Rashay Russell. The schools include Arizona State, Arizona, Kansas State, DePaul, Ohio State, Iowa, USC, my Michigan Wolverines, NC State, UCLA, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Georgetown, Northwestern, Notre Dame, and Wisconsin. Big list. No blue bloods on this list other than UCLA, if you want to consider them a blue blood. I do, for the record. What's your reaction to these being the schools of interest for Morez?
Some very interesting options. Some very interesting options on this list. Also, I think that this is one where it's like a wide variety. Like I think of what his role would kind of look like at each school. Also, a plethora of bags that can be divvied up between each of these schools. So, there's definitely some destinations on here I think I could see Morez at, and I think I would like to see him be that next step. Even if some of those locations might come as a hinder to me as a Big Ten Michigan State Spartans fan. But I think these are I think there's some very realistic options. Also, some options that I'm a little bit confused by. Like, why is Oklahoma on this list?
Yeah, I don't know. Phone calls.
I don't like. Can we make a rule about list? Like, you got to come with receipts. You got to come with something. I don't need just call. I need something else besides just listing schools.
You got to prove to us that you're involved in some capacity. Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah, I could see that. So I do think we could whittle this list down a little bit, and I have a little bit to share from what I'm hearing on the Michigan side of things. I believe Michigan is heavily involved, which comes as a bit of a surprise to me. Not that I don't want Morez. Like he immediately is very near the top of my board. You know I love this player. I have since he started at Illinois. Um, didn't strike me as a dusty guy, to be honest, because I mean, we're coming off a year where he had two 7-footers. Morez is undersized. And if you're going to play the four in the Dusty system, I think you got to have some skill stuff to you, which to me is not necessarily Morez Johnson's game. Now, Morez Johnson and his father and his camp say that is his game. So maybe if Dusty May is acting like we can unlock that, then maybe Morez views this as a perfect fit. I would just be surprised if my head coach is making that pitch here. But I think you got to be making that pitch to try and convince Morez Johnson to come to school. Um, I think about him as a potential pair with Michigan's latest ad, Elliot Cadeau. I hate it. Don't like it. I think Elliot Cadeau needs a lob threat. I don't think that's Morez. I think
You
Morez
don't
is
think Morez is a lob threat?
no.
Just not tall enough?
I think he's a workhorse. I will work harder than you, outstrength you below the rim center.
Mm.
I don't think he's like a great pick and roll combo guy. Now, again, maybe that can change. Maybe it can all develop. But like if the Sellers were going to build around Elliot Cadeau and Perez, both of whom are leaving their last destination like pissed off at their previous coaching staff, I think there's some pretty big questions there. But look, I would probably feel that way with anybody they try to pair with Elliott. So I'm trying to stay focused on Morez. I really like Morez. You can make Morez work with a lot of different things, and I do hope Michigan ends up getting him. From what I've heard, a couple things I've heard. Number one, reportedly Morez wants to decide very quickly here. He wants to like just lock something up and keep it moving. From what I've heard out of all the schools on this list, Michigan is very involved in trying to be the school. Ohio State is very involved in trying to be the school. And Arkansas is very involved in trying to be the school. There was a point at yesterday that there was a lot of smoke that it might be done to Michigan. I think it would have been out now if it was done. So I think those reports may have been a little premature, but Michigan feels very good about their chances of landing Morez Johnson. I think Arkansas does as well. My gun to my head says it's Arkansas or Michigan, maybe with Ohio State looming and decision very imminent here.
Yeah, that's so. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this. Like, how did Northwestern make their way on there? Like Northwestern, Wisconsin. That's funny to me. Is there a school on this list though that you like? You're Morez. You're Morez senior. You're making the decision for Morez, what you think is best for him in his basketball career. Where would you decide for him to go?
Well, wouldn't be Arkansas because the front court guy at Arkansas just left to go play for Brad Underwood. So feel like if you were frustrated with what happened to Brad Underwood, maybe the case study of the guy at Arkansas who thinks Brad Underwood's going to save his career, probably not the best place to go end up. Um, you see Jake Diebler's front court last year, how they pan out. Like
Not good.
I don't think I'm being a biased, selfish asshole to say that Dusty May in Michigan's front court is probably the best plug and play thing for a kid that believes in his game, right? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna give UCLA a shout actually.
really.
Yeah, just because Ade Mara is leaving. They have Billadal, who's more of like a stretch four. Like it'd be a little bit of an undersized front court, but Billadal would provide the shooting. Morez could be your undersized center, like dunker kind of spot guy. You have Donovan Dent in there to be like the dynamic point guard who can, Morez can set screens for him, and I think I kind of like that fit sneakily. Also, Muss loves to play undersized bigs, so throw Morez into that. Feel good about that. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of interesting spots on here. I I really I don't know why. I mean, you might be right, but I just see Morez as a lob threat. And I could be wrong, but I think I don't consider him a below the rim guy. I think he's undersized, but I don't think he's below the rim at all. I think he dunks everything.
Okay. Maybe. Maybe I got
Yeah.
the wrong scout there.
Yeah. But I think Michigan could fit like looking into what it could be a Morez if your front court is Morez and Big Goon. How you feel about that?
Excited.
That's what I would feel too. Yeah.
Excited. Yeah.
But I guess it would be to that point, whatever the ads are with Dusty, like the roster construction around the ads, it would need like a piece to bring it all together, and Magoon would be that.
Is Morez going to be an all-time hated Illini if he ends up in the Big Ten?
Yes.
If he ends up at Michigan?
So I don't think he'll be all-time hate if he ends up at like a UCLA or USC. If he ends up like in one of the Midwestern kind of Big Ten schools, I think like they're burning Morez jerseys outside State Farm.
If Michigan gets 3 years of Morez, do they beat Illinois ever?
Yes.
They would.
Yeah.
I really want this to happen.
Maybe.
I
So you
really,
want Morez?
I do really badly. Yeah.
Okay. So you
I
you,
just
you
don't.
want
You
him?
got to
It's
you
just
got to
a
get the
fit,
right pieces around him and Cadell.
right? Okay.
But I want it.
That's right. That's the right thing to think.
Yep. All right. We'll see where it goes. We'll have more coverage of this as we get closer.
It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.